Hello, Hassan, and welcome to the SaaS Playbook. I'm really looking forward to unpacking some of the build and some more technical questions for you at Noodle Seed. So, for those who are joining in, Hassan is the one of the founding engineers at Noodle Seed. But I would love to kick off the podcast with diving a little bit deeper and getting to know Hassan on a personal level before he got to Noodle Seed. So, Hassan, without further ado, I'd love to pass the virtual microphone over to you. Please tell us a bit about your life before you got to Noodle Seed.
Okay. Thanks for having me, Jenny. It's a pleasure. I think I spent like 5 years in my previous corporate job. I was a front-end developer, and things were like pretty smooth. There's nothing too special to show for during those years, because it was like one of the corporate life. You just go hoop through the rings, and you just go from one place to the other, and it was pretty okay. I life was before Noodle Seed. So I think the fifth year I became a part of this boot camp, an AI boot camp. I know this now. The next thing that comes up, I'm gonna jump ship. I'm not gonna think twice. I had a friend, and we connected with some other people, and our visions aligned, our ideas aligned, and we were like, okay, let's do something about it. So that's how Noodle Seed came to be.
So, just want to touch on that corporate life there, corporate for quite a long time. And you were in the corporate life for 3 years only. So you,
Five,
and what,
five.
5 years? Okay, 5 years.
Yeah,
That's not too bad. You gave it a good
yeah.
go. But Hassan, like, what pulled you into the IA space originally, and what kept you in it once you saw how fast things were moving?
So, I think around 2024, I think it was more of like burnout for me. So I was stuck doing front end stuff for like the past 5 years. I was very unmotivated and didn't feel like pushing myself. And I thought, okay, it's time for a change now. I think I should I'm done with like front end stuff. Even though I still do that as part of the startup, you have to do everything. But still, I wanted a change, and that's when I started looking into AI. By that time, ChatGPT was already there, Claude was already there, Gemini was already there, and to some extent, I was also using these models for like day-to-day stuff and some code-related stuff, work stuff. I should get a more deeper view, idea of how things work and what can be done, what are the possibilities. And by that time, the AI boom hadn't really started yet. I think it was late 2024 and early 2025. Things with AI really picked up when your Lovable, Replit, stuff like that, these started popping up. I think mid of 2024, this came up, and I was like, okay, I think I need to apply myself here and learn more about AI and get into this world. I think it was after I had done the bootcamp is when my mind started like opening up to ideas and possibilities of what can and what can't be done, because I was more informed now. I knew how things work under the hood, and also this awareness of the applications in the world that exist and what can be automated and what can't, and what the impact can be created. So to me at that point, it was like, okay, I'd be missing out if I don't do something about this right now, because this will pick up. It had already started picking up. So it was an easy decision for me.
Like 2025 and AI developments with tools and vibe
Yeah.
coding, like there has in 2025 alone, the innovation and the growth for the AI space is unfathomable
Yep.
almost, because it moves at
Yep.
such a speed. There's bugs. With a lot of the vibe coding when they first released, there were so many bugs, right? So you couldn't really bring that to an engineer and actually get that resolved, because that engineer wouldn't want to touch it, right?
Yeah.
Now, I think from memory, I think Bolt or Base 44 have actually installed Claude code in the background so that there is less bugs, right? So it means GTM, like going to market, would be a lot shorter span than it is even just last year, right? So it's just fascinating how quickly it goes. And I say this all the time, but what we know this week compared to last week is technically already old. Last week is
Yeah.
already old news.
It's like in the AI world, it's like ancient history now.
Yeah. How quickly is it going to go, right? It's crazy to me. But You're a part of the founding engineering team at Noodle Seed. What did the early days look like when it was still just an idea and a small group of builders?
So the early days were like, imagine a group of misfits, like determined, ambitious misfits who were like, okay, want to do something big and let's do something big. Let's get together. There were like 6 people, 5, 6 people initially. And if we thought about what can be done, what's the problem that we should be solving, and we got into the vibe coding. We created a vibe coding product, just like Replit, Lovable, Bolt, and these. And I think from November till January, we had completed it. Obviously, it's like an ongoing thing. You need to keep working on it. But yeah, that was our first foot into the AI world. We came in with a vibe coding tool, and that's how we got it started.
They're never, in terms of vibe coding as an isolation or as a silo, you won't ever be bored in your job as a founding engineer. With what you're building, I feel like it's just never ending.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much you can do because in the early days, it felt like magic. I'm going to be honest, because just putting in some pieces of text in a prompt box, and then it would be unimaginable like a few years earlier to think that, okay, if I can just describe what I want, and then on the right screen, like if you have a screen on the right side, a whole application would pop up. So to me, in the early days, it felt like magic. I mean, it was crazy. The when we built it and it worked and we launched it, so it felt amazing. Yeah, it's never a dull moment when you work in a startup, especially in this day and age of AI, when the boom is at its peak and stuff. It was a thrilling ride. I'm gonna be honest.
It's exciting though. I think in the
Definitely.
initial stages at any startup, especially in B2B SaaS though, it's always so exciting, right? That's where the initial focus of this podcast is you're so focused on building and it's exciting, but it's exciting internally within Noodle Seed or within Hera Digital, for example. But I feel like you almost start to forget the human element to what you're
Mhm.
building. Like, are we building this for the humans? Obviously, we're trying to bridge a gap in the market and we're trying to build something. But in terms of outcomes and deliverables, are we really thinking about the customer and the customer end use case? But what's really funny to me is that's where you start to lose the human touch and the human connection. And
Mhm.
I've had so many good, really genuine conversations with founders and leaders on this podcast where like we get into 30 minutes of conversation like, wow, this is probably one of the best conversations I've had at least in the last quarter. Because I'm like, we forget that we actually have to talk to humans and not just
Yeah.
screens all day.
Yeah, because the whole day you'll just be talking to Claude Code or Gemini, whatever. Okay, I want this. Okay, fix this. Okay, how about you do this? And that time, this was before you had to like talk to like an engineer, a fellow employee. Okay, I want this. Okay, how about you fix that? And so the human connection definitely, it does fizzle out.
I'm not proud to say this, but I've had full blown arguments with old code before. I do because I'm like, you're not listening to me. But I remember I take note that, AI could take over one day, so I'm very polite about it. But
Yep.
and I'm like, hey, obviously the communication has been lost somewhere. Let's try that again. Start from the top.
Yeah. So there's something I do as well. So like after a task has been completed and I like what I see, I'm like, okay, here's a virtual cookie. Good job. I really like what you did. So that I don't want to be I don't want to be victims to AI when they take over and stuff. Yeah.
You actually praise the AI as well. That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
You got to stay on the good side, right?
Yes, I'd much rather be on the good side than the bad side. So you mentioned that you're working across different time zones and
Mhm.
essentially you're always on, right? And you're working definitely on odd hours from where you're based. What does that pace teach you about what it really takes to build something meaningful?
So, like how you said before, that with AI, like every day you go on the news or whatever, LinkedIn, wherever you go and learn about AI, there's a new tool popping up. There's so much competition. There are new things happening every day, and you have to keep up. I mean, at this point, it's not even a choice; it's an obligation because the good thing about these AI tools is like, it really, if you know how to use them and use them properly, it can really make you a development suite like blazing fast. You'll be pushing features out week after week after week. And like I said, the key is that if you use it right, and that really makes sure that you stay ahead of the curve and you're ahead of the competition, because it's really important. Like right now, development, like this is a personal take, development and engineering and technology isn't the moat anymore. It's the distribution. If you think about anything, a good chance is that people can make that. Like there's not a great bottleneck around that anymore. The intelligence capital doesn't really matter that much because you just hand that over to AI and it fixes things up for you. Obviously, with the human in the loop concept, you really polish things and make sure that everything works fine, operates fine. There aren't any security issues and the sort. And after that, it's just GTM. It's just the distribution. It's just making sure that people start using what you create. So, like how I said before, it's an obligation now to be doing things fast and doing things quick. Like there's something that we say internally in our company that break fast, fail fast, so that you can like readjust your plan again and take a step back and two steps forward. So it's
Yeah.
really important that you have that mindset when you're building.
Mm, mm. I think you would agree as well. I think you have to be on on the forefront of the curve at all times, right?
Definitely.
But in saying that, is there a team that is dedicated to being in front of the curve at Noodle Seed?
We all are. So, I mean, so we are still a small team, so everyone has to do everything. Like almost like maybe 80% of the people at Noodle Seed, they do code, and apart from coding, they also take a look at the marketing side. Okay, I want to make stuff for like socials. I want to make posts on LinkedIn. People are writing blogs, and you have to do everything because you can't leave any stone unturned. Obviously, having dedicated people who do look at those stuff is nice, but right now, like how you said before, like having these tools, they don't really help you in just coding. You can use it for research, you can use it for content writing, you can use it for like creating assets for your marketing and branding and stuff, and also code. So
Mhm.
that really improves our efficiency as developers because we're just not developers. We can do a lot more because AI.
I think that's really powerful. I mean, a lot of startups have that scope. A lot of startups go into it, they have like one co-founder that's really good at product and technical and delivery, but then
Hmm.
the other co-founder generally is good at business
Yeah.
and forecasting and micro level expansions, right? And then therefore they have to go back and forward, back and forward, back and forward. I think it's quite different how Noodleseed have approached it, where developers kind of do a bit of everything. But I mean, what's a moment in your career where you realize that you've leveled up as a builder, and it's not just technically speaking, but in how you think as well?
When we first created it was called Spark, Noodle Spark. It was a vibe coding tool. When we created that early in this year, I used to be like a sort of like a customer engineer. I was interfaced with all these our enterprise customers, and they had requests coming in, and I would be making things, I'd be fixing things, and they had broken stuff that I needed to fix, and there were requests coming in. I had to make demos. I think that really sharpened my sense of like product because when you're creating stuff every day and different things every day, you build this understanding. Okay, what makes a good product? Obviously, you also have like great teams, team members who you can talk to who do know product, and you talk to them and you have a discussion. Okay, this is what I'm thinking. How does this look? Is this gonna fit really nicely on this page, or should go to the next page? Because having these back and forth conversations, the point is not just to like okay, you tell me what to do. It's more like, okay, this is what I have in mind, what do you think? So all these constant feedback loops really help me like improve my product sense and my product building capabilities. And that's how like I don't think there was a defined like a definitive moment. I'd say it just happened over time, and
Yeah.
it's been a year, more than a year now, and like the team at Noodle Seed, we make the decision what goes inside the product. We talk to the founders, the co-founders, and we tell them, okay, this is what's gonna go there. This looks nice, this doesn't, and this is what's required. And I think it's all we also the fact that we have such a great team. They're highly qualified, and we have sort of like a SEAL Team Six mentality. We have people that we can trust. Okay, they have my back. Okay, I can trust this guy, his or her. The idea that they're going with is good. It's gonna be good. 9 times out of 10, it is. So we have built this trust and this chemistry between us all. So that's how like we've sharpened each other's skills as well. We've started from front end, then I did back end, then I did product, then I did support, then I did a little bit of like marketing stuff. So I mean, I did some content writing as well. The point is that none of us are gonna be like, okay, this I can't do. Why did you pick this up? We're like, okay, I'll do it. Get things done. So that's the attitude that we work with.
It sounds very collaborative at Noodle
Yeah, yeah,
Seed. It's like we're in
definitely.
this together. Like we're going through the trenches.
Yeah, yeah.
Like help me out here.
It's funny you say that because in my mind, it actually is like that because all the day we're gonna be on a call and we'll just be collaborating. We'll be exchanging jokes. We'll be talking about stuff that needs to go into the product. We'll be discussing strategy. We'll be thinking about, okay, what's the plan gonna be like for the next 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, 12 months. So being in a call all day, I mean, you're bound to be have some chemistry, and through this collaboration, everyone gets to pick up on the pieces of wisdom that everyone drops here and there.
It's really lovely because it's actually quite hard to build a team that is one collaborative but also a good culture. I find when you're sort of dealing with SaaS specifically, right? Everyone's I'm really good at building this and you're really good at building that. And then at some point we'll cross over, but it's very seldom that I think at least from the outside looking in, it doesn't seem all collaborative. So that's pretty cool. Like that's pretty rare, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Blessed.
Yeah, bless. Yeah. For someone that's hearing about Noodle Seed for the first time, what problem are you solving and why does that matter, right?
All right, so Noodle Seed. So we have Noodle Seed is a platform where you can create ChatGPT apps and launch them directly from our platform. For people who don't know what ChatGPT apps is, I think a few months ago, ChatGPT announced apps in ChatGPT. So instead of like having just text conversations, you can have full blown apps show up inside a conversation inside ChatGPT. They opened up a developer SDK toolkit. And apart from that, they've also launched, I think, a lot of apps as well. Right now, recently, if I remember correctly, Adobe, they launched Photoshop, got launched as a ChatGPT app inside ChatGPT. What we've done is that we've taken that SDK and we've built a whole platform around it. And we've made sure that, all right, what you're going to do is that you sign up here, you put in your website, your business website, it could be anything, and it will generate the applications for you. You select the branding that goes in there. It will import the products as well. The AI does all that stuff with all the images, the descriptions, the variants, and the prices. It shows it creates those apps, and you will be able to see these apps inside ChatGPT. Like for businesses that do not have developers who would want their businesses to be inside ChatGPT, they can use this platform to launch their presence here as well. Because ChatGPT right now has 800 million plus users. That's a lot of users with how they like come up with the idea of apps inside ChatGPT. That means like everyone is gonna want to be there. It's like how iOS and Android launched their App Store and Play Store, and people now have their own apps there. and it's important. It's very important for them to have a presence over there. Similarly, it is going to be very important for people to have a presence inside these AI, like these ChatGPTs, Geminis, and Claudes, because that's, I believe, the new way of interacting with, like, going to be the new way to interact with applications. Like, for example, if you I remember when they showed their video, when they launched this ChatGPT, they had a widget for booking.com. So this person just puts in, I want to book I want a hotel room for 5 days or whatever at this location. This is what I want. And the booking.com widget just shows up with options. So you don't have to go to booking.com, neither do you have to open up a booking.com application on your phone. It just happens organically inside the conversation. And that's where you make your booking. They've implemented agentic commerce as well. That's the new thing that ChatGPT came up with. You can pay for stuff over there. You can book flights, you can book hotel rooms, you can schedule appointments, you can just have your business cards in there for a better visibility. This is going to be the new app store because everyone is there and everyone would want to have their own business presence there as well. So that's what we've built a platform for. And our long-term approach is this, that we're not just going to restrict it to ChatGPT. It's going to be a general sort of thing. Obviously, all the other models out there, they're going to release something similar as well, because if ChatGPT does it, they would have to as well, because it's table stakes now. And
Uh-huh.
once they do, it's not going to be a problem with us, because we just handle that complexity on our end. People just put in their websites and whatever, their information, their branding information, their business information and all. And we launched their presence on all the platforms.
Okay. I was going to ask you actually, but you kind of answered it already. What is the upside for businesses to launch an app that is native within the conversations within the Claudes and the Geminis and the stuff like that? But you did just kind of answer and said it's more
Yeah.
about visibility, right?
Yeah.
And do you find with the clients that you do currently have apps in ChatGPT, do you find that they have good results or good metrics to look at yet?
So for now, this feature isn't currently launched yet. It will be launched by the end of December. You can access it through developer mode. So ChatGPT has this developer mode. You go into the settings, you go into apps and connectors. At the bottom, there is this toggle for developer mode. You turn that on, and then they've implemented the MCP approach. You have your MCP URL. You put that in there. It just pulls the widgets out from your MCP URL, and that's how it is for now. Obviously, nobody's gonna do that right now. People don't know what MCPs are. People get scared. Okay, this is a huge URL. What do I do with it? So it's currently a developer mode functionality. It's in beta, and they will be releasing this by the end of this year. And like how I said before, you just gotta stay ahead of the curve. The developer support is already out there. It's already fleshed out, and you can't just be sitting idle right now. We made a whole platform on it so that once they do launch, we already have a working thing. And we have a few people, few clients, we are currently working in a trial mode, because obviously ChatGPT hasn't released it either, but they are on the platform. They have their apps generated. Once ChatGPT launches this publicly, it won't just be visible inside the developer mode. Everyone can see it.
What's really unique about that is the actual induction to the native conversation, because I think you can attest as well. Anytime you have to click a link outside and it leads you externally,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Like, I want to
Yeah.
continue the conversation, right? So that's really innovative. And I wonder at what point Gemini, like, I'm sure they obviously have heard about it already. They're probably
Uh-huh.
working in the background, your
Uh-huh.
perplexities and stuff like that. But I'm really interested to see what the landscape for commerce looks like at that point, because I can sort of predict, the e-commerce platforms wanting to be on there
Yeah.
and as an extra source of revenue, right? The possibilities are endless at that point.
I think Perplexity already has that, like the commerce thing.
Mm.
I think one of our team, one person from our team was, I don't remember who. They were like in the early days when we started developing. He showed me like an example. Okay, he was on Perplexity and he was like, I want to buy a washing machine. And a few options showed up there right then and there, and it with an option of buy now inside
Yeah.
Perplexity.
There was the payment gateway already inbuilt as well?
Yeah.
Wow.
It
Wow,
was
I did
already
not know
there.
that. Wow.
Like, I think Instacart just launched on ChatGPT, and you can buy groceries from there right now. You just launch the app, you put your groceries inside, and ChatGPT also launched this agentic commerce feature. Through that, you can make payments, you can integrate your Stripe and stuff, and people can buy things off ChatGPT then and there.
Wow. I'm not sure if I'm really at a stage where I'm ready to buy something from Chat yet. I'm probably a little bit more reluctant. As per anything, when it first released, there's no doubt going to be bugs, and I'm not too sure if I'm ready to hand
Mhm.
over my credit card details just yet. Obviously, with pioneers such as OpenAI, obviously they would have had to have some safety guards in there already, but I'm just personally, I'm not ready for that yet. Like it's moving too fast.
Yeah, I mean, with time, technology does mature. I'm not gonna be I'm gonna not gonna tell you like 100% is gonna work day one.
Yeah.
But obviously ChatGPT, like right now, like when we're working on developer mode, things break on and off.
Yeah.
And in the early days, we used to get like worried, okay, why is this not working anymore? Why is this was working yesterday but not today? And then the next day it starts working, and now we're like, this is normal for us. Like, okay, maybe they're because they're developing this as well.
Mm.
So
Mm.
yeah, I mean, right now, I think right now is probably uh, the most hesitant time for me as well. But after they flesh things out and like launch publicly. I think for me personally, that would be I'll be fine with that because again, as a person who has experience working with the architecture that displays the application inside ChatGPT, uh, things make sense to me, and I wouldn't be that reluctant.
I'm going to be following Noodle Seed's progression come early January, right after New Year's. I'm like, I wonder if they've released it yet.
Definitely do keep an eye.
I remember you mentioned that within Noodle Seed, you've actually built in AI audit systems as well for obviously your clientele with
Yeah.
the inbuilt apps. I mean, what have you learned about the gap between what companies think they need in AI versus what they actually need?
I think I remember there was this one time, this company, they gave us this huge like list of requirements. Okay, this is what we want. And we were just confused at first glance. Okay, we don't understand what this is. This makes no sense. And I think of around that time, I sort of like had this understanding that people sometimes don't usually know how AI works and what is that they actually need. And when we made something for them, it wasn't 100% what they had shown written inside that document. But we obviously understood. We had conversations with them, so it's really important to have empathy with the people that you work with because documents, like how you said, the AI doesn't build human connection. Human connection is important to understand what people want. So it's important to get on a call, have a conversation, go back, jump through each of those ideas, and understand what is required, what is the problem, what is the solution. That's how you know, okay, you have clarity on what you are trying to build. And once you build it and you have these frequent feedback calls and you keep in touch with the people, I mean, they loved it after what we created for them. So it's
So
not
what you're basically saying is always question if that's what they really want.
definitely. Questioning is really important. Going off of just documents. Sometimes documents can be vague. Sometimes they can be very descriptive, too descriptive. Sometimes you need to abstract some of that information away. Sometimes it's important to understand and empathize with the users what actually is the problem that they're trying to solve. Because once you highlight what the problem actually is, that's when it becomes important, and that's when it becomes easier for you to visualize what the solution for this would look like.
I
Yeah.
think we often get too busy, bogged down on features and tools and
Yeah.
shiny new things, but it doesn't actually translate to what problem is this solving for the customer, for their customer, right? So it's
Yeah.
really interesting. But I think now with such innovative tools, we've been able to manipulate or at least analyze that data a little bit more intelligently. Like, okay,
Hmm.
well, maybe we don't need that. And I think what you said before about always question, is that what you really need? Is that what you really want? I
Yeah.
think that's actually quite a good perspective to have, but also a really great point.
Hmm.
So, from your perspective as a founding engineer, what's the hardest part of scaling an AI product? Like, is it data, reliability, user trust, or is it something completely different?
I think it's trust. People need to want to use your product and to understand that, okay, this will solve my problem. And apart from that, something that's even bigger than that, I would say, is distribution, like how I said before. So trust and distribution, these are the most important factors to scale right now, in my opinion.
That's really interesting coming from a technical sort of standpoint that you say that, because a lot
Yeah.
of technical guys are like, oh, I think the product's just really great and we've been focused on delivering all these cool features.
Yeah, I
So that's
mean the product can be beautiful, not just great, it could be beautiful, it could be smooth, it could be snappy, it could be crisp, it could be anything. But if no one is using it, if it doesn't help anyone, what's the point?
that's like I think that's a saying that I say really often to some of the clients I help with in terms of marketing. Like we're not a marketing firm, but
Hmm.
I'm like, no matter how great your service or your product or your offering is, if no one knows about you, there's no point.
Yeah, there's no
And
point.
it's the same thing in SaaS. So it's sort of the current stage that Noodle Seed is in. What feels like the biggest constraint to growth right now? Would you say that's distribution that you mentioned twice now? Or is it more of sales or product readiness or even just internal bandwidth?
I think as far as product readiness is concerned, we're pretty much at a very mature point. We've already launched. We're public. We made it our launch public as well. We're sort of building in public as well, and people can come. Can come. They can use. Like I said before, distribution is obviously we're not. We're just focusing on organically getting users on board initially at this stage. But obviously, when this feature goes live, that's where we have to double down on. We need to scale. We need to market. We need to get in touch with the user. We frequently get on customer calls and new signups. We need to understand what users like, what they don't like. We're monitoring what's the drop-off point for our users, where we do need to focus on. Those things are obviously they're going to be a work in progress for a very long time. But it's the marketing and distribution that's the most important factor for us. So far, so great. We have things covered. We are reaching out to people. We have sort of created a buzz around, and we have organically have we have had a good influx of users. So that's looking great. Obviously, once you put the credit card down and push things out, things will improve once. And we can also the good thing about this, we can piggyback off of the marketing that OpenAI does, because obviously they're gonna want people to use this feature as well. And
Yeah.
that's good for us because we have that platform that enables them to use this feature easily. Big companies, obviously bigger enterprises, they can make their own apps because they have the engineers and the employees to work on that. But the small businesses, like for example, your like barber shops who want to have like an appointment system inside ChatGPT, they can just come in on a platform, put in their business details, and they're on ChatGPT. That's how simple it would be. Maybe something that could be risky for us, concerning for us would be like these big companies, and by big I mean OpenAI, making their own builders and infrastructure for launching apps on their platform. But hoping that doesn't happen, they have
It's funny you say that because that's typical open AI, right? It's like, oh well, okay, yeah, we can do that now. We can do that now. And it's scary. Like I think when we look at AI and from like a general population perspective, people used to like, okay, we build AI agents, and then OpenAI was like, yeah, we do that now too. Like they just absorb what is currently trending on the market. So hopefully, maybe you guys can get to a point where they're like, you know what, we'll just buy you out, and then you can come work for
Yeah,
us.
that would be great. But also, like, I mean, if I give an example, like a really good example, like Lovable is a really good example. They made the vibe coding tool, and they're still people do still use that. On the other side, you also have Claude Code. Like, to me personally, in my opinion, nothing comes close to Claude Code. Like, I wouldn't go to Lovable, drop a few dollars over there to create an application when I have something sitting inside my terminal that can do things for me. Uh, but they have their space, and Claude Code has its own space, so they do sort of like coexist. And that thing can also happen. It all depends on your timing, on your marketing, on your strategy, your GTM strategy, and how much you can earn the trust of the users, the people who do sign up, and how easy it is for you to retain them. So obviously, I mean, I can tell you a lot of things right now, but only time will tell how things play out.
Yeah, yeah. Well, hopefully you're around in the next 24 months so I can have a chat to you before you get
Definitely.
acquired. But I think, I think with a lot of startups, whether regardless of what your strategy is in terms of longevity for the company, I think, and this is definitely going to be a generalization, but you build, you exit, build, exit,
Mhm,
right? Like that's kind of what I've been seeing around a lot.
mhm.
And that's why it's become such a big thing for people to build, right? Build, revenue raise, exit, build, revenue raise, exit. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I think that's moving. It feels too transactional for me, and I'm not a big fan of it. So hopefully, I can build Hera Digital where it's around for a while, and I'm not really planning on selling it because once you put that much sweat and tears into it, like I just can't let it go. Call it
Yeah.
emotional business choices, but I still stand by it.
Well, I hope you IPO Heritage then.
No, I don't know. I think you would have to do quite a lot to let me to let go because the whole point of me getting out of corporate is to not have to answer to people, right? And one of those is I'm not trying to answer to investors or
I think,
shareholders.
yeah, I think it's really, really like, now this is not just AI. I think as for people who are passionate about the things that they do, who love what they do, it's important that they have some sort of a decision on how things go with the things that they make. Obviously, people who sometimes some people like to be in corporate life. Some people do like to talk to stakeholders, and I mean there's nothing wrong about that. To each their own. Some people like you and me, we love this lifestyle. We love
That's not
building
for
our
me.
own stuff.
That's not for me.
Yeah.
You would have to
So
drag me by the hair to come back to corporate, I
yeah.
think.
So I mean the mentality that I would rather fail brilliantly than sell out. So I mean,
So
that's I think something that's really fascinating. That's really special to have that feeling, and it's really important. I'm really happy for you that you sort of like went through this path.
thank you, thank you. It wasn't an easy feat, and it's always scary at the start, but we
Definitely.
made it. We made
Yeah.
it, so that's okay. So, I mean, you said most of people don't really understand what AI can do beyond the surface level, but how do you think companies should approach AI education internally so adoption actually sticks?
I think the over dependence on AI can be an issue because you can't just hand off your brain to AI. Okay, just do everything for me. Like there's this joke. Okay, make this application. Don't make mistakes. I mean, it will make mistakes. That's not gonna happen. And I think the best way to use AI is to work with AI, not let AI do all the
Right.
work. You use it like, for example, how I use AI is that I do research. If I'm coding, if I do give it a prompt, okay, I want this and that, I would write a whole plan. I would give it a pseudocode. I would write every type of interaction that I would want in detail, ask it to think over it and make a plan of yourself and then implement it. and I review each change that it does so that I know that things are going according to what I want. And once it's made like a first or second iteration, I will go test it out, try to break things, and go back and review the code. If there's something that I can fix myself, I would go ahead and just iterative development with AI, not handing the reins completely over to the tool, but working alongside with it to improve your efficiency, improve your speed, and improve your development and focus. Yeah. So I think
Mhm.
the over reliance of with AI is can be a problem, and sometimes people want AI just for the sake of AI. There will be people who will be adding features that, I mean, make no sense for like on a from a product standpoint. How is this gonna help you? Okay, it's cool, it's pretty nice, it's great, that's great. But where's the value? People
Yeah.
people see this shiny object and they lose focus from the value because the value is the shiny object, but they get distracted by this the what AI can enable them to do. So it's really important to focus on the things that were important before AI. They are still important. The paths to get to those things, you can speed it up or you can just go in whatever direction and get lost and you'll end up nowhere.
It's actually funny that you mentioned that perspective, Hassan, because I've had a few other sort of more technical background leaders on the podcast as well, and they've said the exact same thing. Is
Hmm.
the over reliance is what actually is the detriment to a lot of businesses or enterprises because you're not using your brain. You're therefore you've kind of, and then it kind of comes to the question of, well, what are we employing you for if you're just going to use AI tools to do your job,
Yeah,
right? And then that's
yeah,
a whole completely different conversation.
yeah. Definitely. Like AI is a great tool if you know how to use it. Sometimes so back in the days of when we built Spark, the vibe coding tool, a lot of time was spent on debugging. I sort of became like customer support, and most of my time was spent not doing actual engineering, but fixing problems for what these guys had built. And I would see, okay, why did they do this? This makes no sense. And that's when I figured out that people don't really know how to use AI. It's not the end all be all, the fix everything solution to every problem. It will improve your workflows. It will improve what you want. It will bring life to your ideas, but not every idea can be a good idea. No offense, but you need to focus on the value.
Yeah. That's what you've mentioned us then is very poignant. Like that is the Northern Star, I think, for all AI based businesses is don't forget the value that you're providing or at
Yeah.
least deliver on what you promise. I think
Yeah.
is very important to remember because we get so bogged down and so focused on building features and tools and shiny things that,
Yeah.
like you said, you forget the value.
Yeah. You end up building a feature factory and people users just get confused of what are we looking at.
That's a great way to put it, actually. That
Yeah.
feature factory.
Yeah.
All right, Hassan, we're about to wrap up the podcast, but I have one last question for you.
Mhm.
For aspiring founders or builders who watch this podcast who want to work in AI, what's one principle or mindset you would tell them to adopt before they even start?
What's true will always remain true is to be a problem solver. It is never easier than before to get into AI or get into building anything, building your own product, building your own service. You need to focus on what the problem you're trying to solve and is that problem worth solving or not. If you build that mindset, you would know things will come, these things will align. Because, like I said, building technology to fix a problem is not a problem anymore. It's the actual problem that you're trying to solve. That's the problem. It's a worded statement, but focusing on the value, focusing on the problem that is worth solving is the mindset that you need to have. Obviously, you need to be able to empathize with the people, with your users. You need to have a sort of like an expanded worldview on how you perceive problems and how you see what fixes could be implemented for them. So just having that problem solver attitude will obviously, like, there's nothing that's guaranteed in life, but it will be a really good start for you when you take on the startup life or being an entrepreneur or building something that solves people's problems.
That's beautiful. In a way, you've put it simply but concisely in a way that amongst all the noise that's going on
Yeah.
in our industry right now, I think simplicity is almost best and simplicity is key.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, the things that were true before, they're still gonna be true now.
Yeah, yeah, before AI, and it will always be true even after AI, right?
Yeah. So stick to the fundamentals.
I agree. I 100% agree. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Hassan. I really, really appreciate you taking the time. It's been wonderful. You've given me a lot of insights from not only from a product perspective, a slight hint of marketing perspective, but also I think what's really stood out for me for our conversation is it's actually been like a real human to human conversation. And that's what I value the most and the connection behind it. Like I've had a laugh. So I've had a great time.
Yes, it was a good time and I appreciate it. It's been a pleasure talking to you and your like how you perceived this conversation and how your opinions were. And I really appreciated that. I really liked the questions and it was an amazing time.
Awesome. Thank you so much.